myself Akshita Naik. I am here on behalf of my group. My group name is Sunflower. Sunflower is very beautiful when it blooms and its seeds are very high in nutrients. Today we are going to explain the topics on quasi-contract, contingent contract and discharge of contract. Now I would like to call Abhishek to explain quasi-contract.
My name is Abhishek Devarkar and my topic is quasi-contract. I will explain what is the meaning of quasi-contract and when it arises. So what is a quasi-contract? The term quasi-contract, the word quasi can be defined as partly or almost, and the word contract can be defined as an agreement enforceable by the law. What is a quasi-contract? In a normal contract, there will be a proposal, acceptance, and consideration and enforcement of the law. But in a quasi contract, there is no proposal, acceptance, and there is only consideration and law of enforcement. So, what do you mean by quasi contract? Quasi contract is the essential concept contract by which one party is want to make the payment in consideration of something done or suffered by the other party. Not based on actual consequences. I will explain the help of example. If A and B are two relatives, B becomes mentally sick and A takes the responsibility of B's family to provide necessity needs to B's family. So A provides necessary needs to B's family of his own concentration. Later A becomes the entitled of the B's family, B's property. He can take the concentration or whatever he had provided to his family. So this is the only contract where there is no proposal or acceptance. There is only concentration and the law of enforcement. So when the quasi contract arises, the quasi contract arises only when one person has done something for another or paid money behalf to third party. Then the court comes forward on the ground of equity, saying that the person who receives the benefits must make compensation to others, otherwise he will become richer in the expenses of others. It means a person who makes the payment for the second person on behalf of third party, then on the behalf of third party, then he would on the behalf of third party. If one person makes the payment of second person on the behalf of third party, then he would become entitled to take back his consideration whatever is spent to that third party. So thank you. And next one is continued by Mr. Achal Andalki.
Good afternoon everybody, myself Achal Mandekar. My topic is essential of quasi-contract and difference between contract and quasi-contract. What are the essentials of quasi-contract? First one is, it is usually a right to the money and generally for corrupted amount of money. ಅಂದರೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಯು ಬೇರೊಬ್ಬರ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಏನು ಪೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್, the right is not a result of an agreement but it is imposed by the law. So in quasi-contract ಅಲ್ಲಿ agreement ಅನ್ನು ಕಾನೂನುಗಳ ಮೂಲಕ ವಿಧಿಸಲಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಅದರ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾರ್ಟೀಸ್ಗಳ ಮೂಲಕ ವಿಧಿಸಲಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಕ್ವಾಸಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಲಾ ಮೂಲಕ ಇಂಪೋಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಕ್ವಾಸಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಯಾರು ಪ್ರಪೋಸಲ್ ಇರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ರೈಟ್ ಡಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಟು ಆಲ್ ಇನ್ ದ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಬಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಟು ಅ ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್. ದೇರ್ಫೋರ್ ಇಟ್ ಲುಕ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಅ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ರೈಟ್. ಕ್ವಾಸಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳ ನಡುವೆ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ರೈಟ್ಸ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬೇರೆಯವರಿಗೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕ್ವಾಸಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ಟೂ ಆರ್ ಮೋರ್ ಪಾರ್ಟೀಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್ ಟುಗೆದರ್ ಫಾರ್ ಕಾಮನ್ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಜನರೇಟ್ ಅನ್ ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್. ಕ್ವಾಸಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅ ರಿಯಲ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್. ಇನ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಎರಡು ಅಥವಾ ಎರಡಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಪಕ್ಷಗಳು ಸೇರಿ ಒಪ್ಪಂದವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತವೆ. ಇನ್ ಕ್ವಾಸಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅ ರಿಯಲ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಅನ್ ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದಿ ಪಾರ್ಟೀಸ್. ಕ್ವಾಸಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ನೋ ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಪಾರ್ಟೀಸ್. ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ಪಕ್ಷಗಳ ನಡುವೆ ಒಪ್ಪಂದ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಕ್ವಾಸಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಪ್ಪಂದನೇ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಪಾರ್ಟೀಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ದ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಇನ್ ಕ್ವಾಸಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟೀಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್. ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪಕ್ಷಗಳು ತಮ್ಮ ಒಪ್ಪಿಗೆಯನ್ನು ನೀಡುತ್ತವೆ. ಇನ್ ಕ್ವಾಸಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಪಕ್ಷಗಳು ತಮ್ಮ ಒಪ್ಪಿಗೆಯನ್ನು ನೀಡುತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಫೋರ್ತ್ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ಲೈಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಪಾರ್ಟೀಸ್ ಬೈ ದಿ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್. In quasi contract, liability is independent of agreement. Last one, it is created by the operation of a contract. Quasi contract, it is created by operation of a contract. It is not created by the operation of a contract. Contract ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಪ್ಪಂದದ ಮೂಲಕ ಕಾರ್ಯಾಚರಣೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಈ ಕ್ವಾಸಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಒಪ್ಪಂದದ ಮೂಲಕ ಕಾರ್ಯಾಚರಣೆ ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. Next topic we will explain by Chetan Amsek.
Myself Swachhta Mankekar. My topic is contingent contract. Contingent contract is a contract in which a promise is conditional and the contract shall be performed only on the happening or not happening of some future uncertain event. ಅನಿಶ್ಚಿತ ಒಪ್ಪಂದವು ಒಂದು ಒಪ್ಪಂದವಾಗಿದ್ದು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಭರವಸೆ ಷರತ್ತುಬದ್ಧವಾಗಿರುತ್ತದೆ ಮತ್ತು ಭವಿಷ್ಯವು ಕೆಲವು ಅನಿಶ್ಚಿತ ಘಟನೆಯು ಸಂಭವಿಸುವ ಅಥವಾ ಸಂಬಂಧಿಸುವ ಮಾತ್ರ ಒಪ್ಪಂದವನ್ನು ನಿರ್ವಹಿಸಲಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. Definition: according to section 31 of Indian contract is a contract or not to supply to some event such contract does not happen. ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ 30 ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಒಂದು ಅನಿಶ್ಚಿತ ಒಪ್ಪಂದವು ಏನನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲು ಅಥವಾ ಮಾಡದಿರುವ ಒಪ್ಪಂದವಾಗಿದೆ. ಕೆಲವು ಘಟನೆಗಳು ಅಂತಹ ಒಪ್ಪಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೇಲಾಧಾರವು ಸಂಭವಿಸುವ ಅಥವಾ ಸಂಭವಿಸುತ್ತದೆ. For example, ex contract to pay 20,000 while then judge is paid to return his money within 1 year. Ex spouse ಒಪ್ಪಂದ 20,000 ಹಾಗೆ ಸ್ನೇಹಿತ ಜಡ್ 1 ವರ್ಷದೊಳಗೆ ವಾಯನ ಹಣವನ್ನು ಹಿಂದಿರುಗಿಸಲು ವಿಫಲವಾಗಿದೆ ಮಾತ್ರ. Not discontinued by
Myself, good afternoon everyone. Myself, Ashna Pujari, and I am going to explain about essential of contingent contract. Point number 1: there must be a valid contract to do or not to do something. A contract is contingent when there is happening or not happening of a certain future event. For example, a promise will be to pay a certain amount if the certain ship does not return. The ship sinks in the ocean. Therefore, the contract can be enforceable in the eye of law. A contingent contract is a contingent contract is based on the such future events. It may happen or not happen. So it is a valid contract. And it is based on the production work, and because the production was correct. Point number 2: such performance of the contract must be conditional. For making a contingent contract, there must be a condition for the performance of the contract, and there must be a performance of certain future events. Example: A promised B to deliver the bike, and B promised to pay for it after the delivery of the bike. This is not a contingent contract because future events are certain and sure to happen. A promised B to deliver the bike, and B is going to pay after the delivery of the bike, and it is not a contingent contract. Point number 3: the event should not belong to the promisor. In the contingent contract, the uncertain future events which is happening or not happening should be independent, and the contingency of the event should lie upon the promisor only. It should be a futuristic and uncertain event. For example, if A promises to pay B 1 lakh if he so chooses, it is not a contingent contract. However, where the event is within the promisor will but not merely his will, it may be a contingent contract. If A promises B for giving 1 lakh rupees, it's his choice, it's only his choice, it's not a B. However, where the event is within the promissory will but not merely his will, it may be a contingent contract. Next is continued by Ashwara Mahale.
Good afternoon everyone. Myself Aishwarya Mahale. I'm explaining about discharge of contract. First of all, we must know about contract. What is contract? Contract is two persons dealing and agrees the deal between two parties. A promised to sell the house to B, and B agrees to take the possession of the A, and that the deal between two parties is called contract. And when this contractual relation got cancelled or restricted by the both is called discharge of contract. When the parties to the contract fulfill their obligation, the contract is to be executed. Discharge of contract implies termination of the contractual obligation. Next, models of discharge of contract: by performance, by mutual consent or agreement, by impossibility of performance, by length of time, by operation of law, by breach of contract. By performance. By performance means when parties to contract fulfill their obligation within the time and in the manner. When parties fulfill their obligation and fulfill their obligation within the time and in manner, that is called discharge of contract by performance. For example, A makes contract to sell his house to B for rupees 10 lakhs. Here, when B pays rupees 10 lakh and takes the possession of house, the contract is deemed to be complete because both the parties have fulfilled their promises. Here, A makes contract to sell his house to B, and here when B pays rupees 10 lakh and takes the possession of house, he pays the 10 lakh to get the house and possession of house. The contract is deemed to complete because both the parties have fulfilled their promises. The both parties have fulfilled. That parties both accept the everything what they deal with them. Both of them. Next, discharge of contract by mutual agreement. When both parties agrees to end the contract is said to have been terminated under the mutual consent. When both the parties agree to take the deal and then something that happens in between them and they decide to end the contract, that is called and both the parties understand each other and the mutual understanding happens and the terminated under mutual consent. That is called mutual consent or agreement. When both parties in that there are three ways. One is novation. When both parties by mutual consent agree to make a new contract to replace the existing one between the parties, it is called novation. Novation means A makes an agreement with B to supply him 500 quintal of rice at rupees 900 per quintal on a certain date. Before the date delivery, B proposes to buy wheat instead of rice at rupees 100 quintals of wheat at rupees 200 per quintal. That is called novation. Alteration. Alteration means change in terms of original contract by mutual consent. When it is done by the consent of parties, the parties are lawfully bound to the performance of the altered contract where discharged. Alteration can be regarding time, place, quantity or price, etc. Remission or waiver. According to the section 63 of the Indian Contract Act, acceptance of lesser and delayed fulfillment of a promise by the promise is called a remission or waiver. For example, A owes 25,000, B is in acute shortage of money and decides to accept 20,000 from A at the time and place. Agreed in discharge of whole debt. Means A owes B from B. A owes 25,000. B is in shortage of money. B is in shortage of money. When A needs 25,000, but B has only 20,000 rupees with him. then A is accept that 20,000 rupees in regard to this section. If B pays to 20,000 rupees to the A, then it that agreement will get end, and 5,000 rupees he not has not to give a return to him. Thank you. Next will be explained by Akshita Pinai.
I will continue what Aishwarya was explaining. The third point is discharge by impossibilities of performance. Section 56, make it clear that an agreement contains impossible act, it is void ab initio. Any such agreement is deemed to be void. Here the section 56 makes clear that if any agreement contains impossible act, which is impossible to perform those activities, then it is called as it is void ab initio. Ab initio is from very beginning. It is not contract at all. If it is impossible to perform, then such agreement is deemed to be void. For example, if A makes an agreement with B to find a lost treasure by magic, it is a void agreement. A makes an agreement with B to find out the lost treasure, and that is by magic. It is impossible to happen. So it is void contract. It cannot perform. The following are the situations where such impossibilities can occur. Description of subject matter. When subject matter of contract is destroyed, the contract is made, and neither the parties of the contract can be blamed for the destruction. The contract becomes void. When the contract is made and the subject matter is destroyed, the contract cannot be performed. For example, in case of Taylor versus Caldwell, the theatre was booked for the musical performance, but there was a fire and it was completely destroyed. In the case of Taylor versus Caldwell, here the theatre was booked for a musical performance, but unfortunately it caught fire and it cannot be the act cannot be performed. So for the court held the contract will be void and released the promisor from performing. Next, change of law. If the person makes a contract to perform an act which is within the law, and when the contract is made, but later it becomes lawful because of the change in law and contract is discharged. When the contract was made, it was under law, but sometimes due to the political impression, the law changes. When the law changes, it becomes unlawful. For example, A makes a contract to supply a particular variety of wood from a forest to B. The contract is made. A new law prohibits the cutting of wood from the forest. The contract is deemed. A made a contract with B to give the woods from the forest, but it was made when it was lawful. Then the government prohibited the cutting of wood from the forest. Then the contract is to be called as void contract. Non-occurrence of event. If an event is based on the occurrence of event, and the non-occurrence of such events will make the contract void. If the contract is made for only for specific event, and if that event is not happening, then the contract is void. We can see it is in the case of Rel versus Henry. Rel rented a room for 2 days from Henry rented a room for 2 days from Rel for witnessing the coronation process of King Edward VII. Here Henry rented a room from Rel to visit the procession of the king. The king used to go from there and he wanted to visit that. So that's why he booked a room. But the procession was cancelled because the king being sick. Here the king, because of being sick, the procession could not take place. The court excused Henry from paying the rent because it is held at the basis of renting the room for the procession, and the cancellation discharged the contract. Here the court orders the Henry not to pay the rent to the Rel because he rented a room only for the particular event, and that event is cancelled, so he can't pay now. And hence the contract is discharged. Personal incapacity or death. When the execution of contract is dependent on the personal skill or a qualification of a party, the contract is discharged on the capacity or death of a party. when the contract is made especially with the other party's personal skill and qualification. Only he can perform those skills and no one can perform. And if he dies, then the contract is void. Then the contract is discharged. Outbreak of law. All the contract made with the enemy during war time are void. Even when the parties make the contract, when the relation between the countries are friendly, the outbreak of war makes the performance of contract impossible. Suppose India and China made a contract when that was in a good term. When they had a good relation. But suddenly they outbreak with the war, then they can't perform those contracts. So the contract becomes impossible. The fourth one is discharge by lapse of time. If the contract is to be performed within the specific time, each party to it must perform his promises within the stipulated time. On the completion of stipulated time, the contract is discharged. For example, if the debtor does not pay his debt to the agreed date, the creditor must file a suit against within the 3 years. If he does not sue within the period, he loses the legal right to claim the debt, and the debtor is not a lawful bound to pay. Here what happens, debtor has to pay some amount to the creditor, but he fails to pay the amount. So the creditor must file the complaint against him within the 3 years according to the Limitation Act. If he does not file a complaint within the 3 years, after 3 years he can't give a complaint. He can't file a complaint. If he does not sue within the within that period, he loses the legal right. He does not have any legal right to claim his money. So hence it can discharge the agreement. So next, this is continued by Akshata Kotakar.
Good afternoon everyone, myself Akshata Kotakar and my topic is discharge of contract. There are 3 types of law: by merger, by unauthorized alteration and by insolvency. First point is discharge by merger. ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು inferior right, superior right ಜೊತೆ merge ಆಗೋದು. For example, when the lesser of an immovable property becomes the legal owner of the property, the lease deed is terminated. lesser ಯಾರಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರದು ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಮತ್ತು ಲೆಸ್ಸಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾರು ಜಮೀನನ್ನು ರೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಒಂದು ಜಮೀನನ್ನು ಬಿಗೆ ರೆಂಟಿಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ 1 ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ. ಈಗ ಎ ಲೆಸ್ಸರ್ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ, ಬಿ ಲೆಸ್ಸಿ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಬಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, 10 ವರ್ಷದ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಆ ಜಮೀನನ್ನು ಎ ಇಂದ ಖರೀದಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಈಗ ಬಿ ಓನರ್ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಅವ್ರ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಒಂದು ಲೀಸ್ ಡೀಡ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ರೆಂಟ್ ಇಂದು ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಈ ಕೇಸನ್ನು ನಾವು ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಬೈ ಮರ್ಜರ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಬೈ ಅನ್ಅಥೋರೈಸ್ಡ್ ಆಲ್ಟರೇಷನ್. When a material alteration is made in the terms of original contract by one party without the knowledge and consent of the other, the knowledge and consent of the other, the contract is discharged and can be avoided. ಅಂದರೆ ಈಗ ಒಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಕಡೆ ಒಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ತನ್ನ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಕೇಳದೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ವಸ್ತುವನ್ನು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ದ ರೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಲ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಎ ಮತ್ತು ಬಿ ಮತ್ತು ಒಂದು ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಪೋಸ್ ರೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ 10% ಇದ್ದರೆ ಬಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಎಗೆ ಕೇಳದೆ ರೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟನ್ನು 8% ಅಂದರೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಈ ಕೇಸನ್ನು ನಾವು ಅನ್ಅಥೋರೈಸ್ಡ್ ಆಲ್ಟರೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೇವೆ. ಥರ್ಡ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಬೈ ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ. If a debtor is declared under the provision of law, he is absolved of all obligation under the contract and the contract terminates. Debtor ಯಾರಂದರೆ ಹಣವನ್ನು ಕೊಡುವವನು. ಈಗ ಅವನನ್ನು ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ನಾವು ಅವನಿಂದ ಹಣವನ್ನು ರಿಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆಗ ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಆವಾಗ ಅವನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಬ್ರೀಚ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್. ಬ್ರೀಚ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟನ್ನು ಮುರಿಯುವುದು. ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ 39, if a party to a contract without a valid or lawful obligation under the contract, the other party has the right to repudiate the contract. According to section 39, ಒಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಯಾವುದೇ ವ್ಯಾಲಿಡ್ ರೀಸನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಅವನು ಆ ಒಬ್ಲಿಗೇಷನನ್ನು ರೆಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನಿರಾಕರಿಸಿದರೆ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಕಡೆ ಹಕ್ಕಿರುತ್ತೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟನ್ನು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. There are two types of breach: actual breach and anticipatory breach. Actual breach ಅಂದರೆ if a party to a contract fails to perform its obligation under the contract in the stipulated time or refuses to perform such obligation, then such breach of contract is called actual breach. For example, Harish promises to deliver a horse to Shyam on 19th April. On the appointed date, he refuses to deliver the horse. It is case of actual breach. ಅಂದರೆ ಹರೀಶ್ ಶ್ಯಾಮಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಮಿಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ಆ ಕುದುರೆಯನ್ನು ಅವನು 19th April ನಮಗೆ ಡೆಲಿವರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಂತ. ಆದರೆ 19th April ಆ ದಿನ ಬಂದಾಗ ಹರೀಶ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ರೆಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ನಿರಾಕರಿಸ್ತಾನೆ, ನಾನು ಈ ಹೊತ್ತನ್ನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಈ ಕೇಸನ್ನು ನಾವು ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಬ್ರೀಚ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಂಟಿಸಿಪೇಟರಿ ಆರ್ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್. ಇಫ್ ಅ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಟು ಅ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ದ ಸ್ಟಿಪ್ಯುಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಟೈಮ್ of his performance by word of mouth or by behavior makes his intention not to perform his promise, it is deemed to be anticipatory or constructive breach of contract. For example, if Harish informs Shyam before 19th April of his intention not to deliver the horse and sells the horse to Ashok before the date, it will be a case of anticipatory or constructive breach of contract on the part of Harish. ಈಗ ಹರೀಶ್ ಶ್ಯಾಮ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ನಾನು 19th April ಮುಂಚೆ ಆ ಹಾರ್ಸನ್ನು ಡೆಲಿವರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ. ಅವನು ಅವನಿಗೆ ಬೈ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳಲ್ಲ, ಬೈ ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್ ಅವನೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, 19th April ಮುಂಚೆ ಆ ಹಾರ್ಸನ್ನು ಅಶೋಕಿಗೆ ಡೆಲಿವರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಇನ್ ಸಚ್ ಕೇಸಸ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಆಂಟಿಸಿಪೇಟರಿ ಆರ್ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಬ್ರೀಚ್. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
Come have a seat.
I want to talk something important.
Yes, say.
I want to become a shareholder of your company and I don't want to work here as a worker.
So, I will talk to my driver and see what we can do.
Okay.
Please have a seat. Okay, sir. I have called you for my driver. My son wants to become a shareholder of my company, but I don't know how it is. So, you can explain it.
As it is special features of separate entity, it can hold property name also. You can just require 7 members of the family: you, your wife, and your son and daughter.
Good afternoon, sir. So our company is in news losses reporting in payment of interest and debentures resulted in winding up the business.
Oh no. What's the status of the business?
Total assets are 6,500 pounds, liabilities are 10,000, and unsecured creditors are 8,000.
Since I also have debt, I think I should take assets with me.
Okay, fine.
Yes, come in.
Hello sir, I am the creditor of your company.
Yes, why were you here?
Sir, we think that you and your company are same as you and your family mostly holds the share of the company. So as losses of company given by you and priority of assets are given by us, so I will see you in the court.
Okay, then I will see you in the court.
Hi,
Hi, what happened? Why you look so sad?
I was an unsecured creditor of Settlement Company Limited, but now company went under liquidation.
So the priority of assets given to Salomon and other creditors were less understood.
So why didn't you file the complaint against them?
I did file a complaint against them, but the judgment was that the Salomon company is a separate legal entity, a moment it was legally registered.